Okay, so counter work. So anything's at the counter, like whether it's cooking, dishes, brushing your teeth, that all falls into the counter work umbrella. So for dishes, for example, as soon as you go to do dishes, the dishes are down in the sink. Immediately, you're already going into, even if you're not thinking about it, you're going into here a little bit. And just that little bit, we're adding 150% load to the lumbar spine. So we want to modify it. First of all, anytime you're bending forward down to anything, you can always put a hand down, which is one of the easiest things, right? So if you're bending to grab something, you can put a hand down here. If you're spitting when you're brushing teeth, you can put a hand down. You can put your forearms down if you need to get lower onto something. If you're reaching into a cabinet and there's, like a door next to it or something else, you can put your hand on as you go to reach down into the cabinet. That takes all the load and it puts it into that object. Even if it's your own knee, okay? Putting the hand down when you're at a counter or bending down on something is such an easy way to take the load off. If you're helping your kid with something at the counter, they have homework, you're coming over to look at them, just lean. Easy solution. Just lean like this. Lean like this if you're with them. That way you're not just suspending yourself in the air like that. If you're not quite as tall as I am, typically by widening your stance, most people get to kind of stomach height at the countertop. And then what you can do with that wide stance is you can actually just lean your belly right into the countertop, and then all the load is going into the counter instead of in your back. And you can just lean like that with this wide stance right into the counter and work that way. And then the other thing is if you're moving, if you have to move from side to side, you can just walk side to side, or you can open up the hip by turning your foot out, and then you can actually rotate at the hips. Notice we're rotating at the hips here, and we're not bent and then twisting like this, okay? So if you're leaned in, you can open that hip a little bit, rotate your hip some, rotate back out. If you can avoid the rotation, great thing to do, because as soon as you get cooking, a lot of times you're doing a lot of reaching. You're reaching over here for this, you're grabbing that. Everything's out in front of you, but it's all kind of like spread out. And then you have something that you forgot about. You got to go down to the counter and get it. Then you reach in the fridge and the freezer, and you come back. It's just like this cycle of like a lot of bending and twisting. Use good mechanics to get everything out that you need. Plan ahead. Get everything out that you need to cook your meal, and then just get it in like a pile right here. Get into that stance, and then you can just grab piece by piece. And if there's still not enough space, that's when you can use that little sidewalk or the hip rotation. So then for cooking, we just don't want to use the back burners if we don't have to, because that's a tough one. You're not going to lean on the front if you're, cooking, because you'll burn yourself. But back burners, if you can avoid using them where you have to reach, just avoid using them.